everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I make a can of Wolf Brand chili a little bit fancier. This happens to be a can of Wolf Brand chili with beans. Part of the label is torn off and I'm pretty sure it says with beans. I see pictures of beans in the chili, but if it didn't have any beans, that's okay. We could add a can of beans to that. I'm going to be adding some tomatoes. These are diced tomatoes. You could use fresh, but I'm going to be using cans of items because sometimes when we're in certain situations, we tend to go and buy canned food so that we can survive, and therefore then you end up with a bunch of canned food. So this is how I'm going to make it a little bit fancier. I also happen to have this Armor Vienna bites that I'm going to add, and I have some onion. I had these little chili pepper flakes, so I'm going to be using that. I've got 2 cups of water. I may use more than that, and I'm going to use my chicken bouillon. I wish I had a beef or a beef broth, but I have just the chicken bouillon, so I'm going to use that. And then, of course, I've got a Mexican blend of shredded cheese. You can use whatever cheese you like, maybe just some cheddar cheese. I'm going to be using avocado oil, and I've got a big old pan here. So the first thing I'm going to do is try not to knock things over, but I'm going to go ahead and chop up about half of this onion, and then I'm going to start sauteing it in here with about a tablespoon of that avocado oil, or you could use olive oil if you don't have that. Alright, so after chopping up your onions and wiping your tears, we're going to go ahead and saute them. So I've got a hot pan, and I've got this on high right now, and I poured some olive oil in there and gotten it really hot. That's a little piece of onion that I threw in there just to test it to make sure it was hot. I did separate a little bit because I do like fresh chopped onion on top of my chili. I like the little crunch. Of course, you don't have to do that. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and put all this onion into our pan. And we're just going to saute it. And I like to saute it until it's a little bit translucent. Maybe you want it to be a little bit more caramelized, but that's going to be up to you. Okay, so my onions are ready for the next ingredient. Now, I would add these little Vienna bites right now into there, but my husband doesn't care for these, so I'm actually going to go ahead and saute these separately in their own little pan over here. Get them all nice and toasty because that's how I like them. Okay, so to this, besides adding the Vienna sausages, I am going to add the tomato. Now, you could use some regular sausage or something else like that to add to this chili. Now, that Wolf Brand chili has meat in it, so you don't have to add any extra meat. But, you know, just to make it a little bit more hearty, you could. Alright, so I've got these tomatoes in here, and I want them to also kind of saute a little bit. I did turn down the temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back up to a medium to high heat. In the meantime, I'm also going to be sauteing those little Vienna bites, and once I have this ready to my liking, it won't take very long, a couple of minutes for this, and then we'll be back. Alright, so now that I've got my tomatoes sauteed to the point where I like them, forgive all that steam coming off of that, I could add some garlic to this too if I wanted to, actually. So if you want to add some garlic, add that in now. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my chili, and I believe it's with beans. Now, I can't pour it out like this, and I'm using one hand for my camera. So I'm going to actually pour this off camera. Okay, so now that I got my chili in there and I've mixed it up really well with the tomato and such, and remember my little Vienna sausages, those are done. So I've gone ahead and turned that off. And I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this. So I've got 2 cups of water. And here I've got about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of that chicken bouillon. So we're going to mix it in really well. Get all those flavors together. And I'm going to put this on a low to medium heat. And just let all these yummy flavors marry each other. Make a nice little family in there. Then I'm going to give it a taste. Now, I had added some salt and pepper to the onions when I was sauteing them, and I don't know if I mentioned that, but I did season them. So now that I've got this going, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little taste, and if I need any seasonings, maybe some of that garlic powder or fresh garlic, whatever you happen to have in your home, or any other little seasonings that you can think of that you've got in your pantry and you need to make this a little more special, add that in there. Okay, so I'm just going to add the little chili pepper flakes right now. Okay, so I'm not adding too many, just a little bit. Just add to your taste. I do have some hot sauce that I could also use on this, so I may add it after I've plated this or actually put it in a bowl. Okay, so let's leave this here for a few minutes on low to medium heat. Okay, so 2 minutes later, it's bubbling up, and I did add a little bit of salt and lots of pepper and some of my garlic and herb seasoning to this. I'm almost tempted to add some cumin, you guys, but this is what I'm adding in here. It tasted nice before I seasoned it, so I could just imagine it's going to taste a little bit nicer. So look, it's kind of soupy, but because I added that chicken bouillon, it's not watery, or at least it doesn't just taste plain like, you know, just like I just added water. So if you have a chicken broth or some beef broth, you can use that as well. All right, so a few minutes later, and it's only been about 3 minutes later, I'm going to go ahead and call this done because it is really nice and tasty, and it is steaming hot. So I'm going to go ahead and serve this with the little Vienna sausages and my onions, and I have cheese, and I think I'm going to actually throw some sour cream on top. So let's go ahead and serve this up. Alrighty, so now we want to add some of these little Vienna sausages into there, into the bowl. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Then we're going to top it off with some onions. And I do want some shredded cheese in there as well. There we go. And then we'll top it off with some sour cream. And you might want to serve this with some Frito chips, you know, some corn chips or some tortilla chips. I'm serving it with some pork rinds because I think it'll taste just as good with that. I'm also going to add some Cholula hot sauce. Forgive the noises in the background. That was my husband arriving and my dog barking. But there we go. I've got this sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that on there and give it a taste. All right, everyone. Here's a nice spoonful. Let me get one of these little Vienna sausages. Ah, look at that cheese. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is actually really good. I really like that I toasted these little Vienna sausages. It actually gives it a little bit of texture. Now it makes it a little bit nicer than just, you know, chewing on something like a little too squishy or smooth. And let me try with a little pork rind in there. Let me just give it a little taste. Yep, delicious. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed my canned food. I'm going to call this a chili weenie soup. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up with some onion on it. And I hope that YouTube will give me a big old thumbs up and that you'll enjoy this video. And maybe try this little simple recipe with some of your canned food items that you find in your pantry. And don't forget to subscribe on the red button and hit the bell for notifications of when I load up my videos. I do load up videos twice a week. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Trisha's Creations. And as always, enjoy.